What is up, guys? I wanted to share, I don't know, kind of a unique question I had someone ask me. The other day I was training an IFBB pro, John Ballard, and he asked me an interesting question while we were training because he knows a little bit. He told me he's been following my stuff for a long period of time, and knows that my background really comes from, first and foremost, I trained a lot of normal people. I mean, I worked in a big box gym, training normal weight loss, general fitness, general population. I even worked with a bunch of very elderly population, people coming off of injuries, post physical therapy, stuff like that. But I also, a lot of people know me now as just, hey, you're the guy that works with pro bodybuilders, Mr. and Miss Olympia. And so he asked me, which did I prefer training? What was my favorite? And so I kind of had a quick response there at first. But then as I kind of talked through it, I definitely found some things that I enjoyed about both. So again, just, I don't know, I thought it was kind of a good question I haven't gotten too many times, and thought maybe you guys would enjoy being a little fly on the wall and hearing my thoughts on that topic. So here you go. In general, the short answer to that is bodybuilders, just because of the type of person it tends to be, and how they are with what their goals are. Whereas it's obviously more with bodybuilding, you get people that are more like do whatever it takes, like in a good way, really want to work hard, really want to get better. Where obviously some general population, which I don't blame them, is like, just get 30 pounds off me, or just make me healthy, or just whatever it is. Which again is fine, but I joke is like you don't need me, you don't need Joe Bennett for that, right? You know, there's no like. All that stuff is more about making better decisions, things that help with adherence and stuff like that. And honestly, I really enjoyed that when I was doing it, because that's a different type of fulfilling. So it's like, because I enjoy, it's funny, I get more fulfillment out of maybe helping someone, like as far as improving their life with a normal person. I get more enjoyment out of like the technical side of it from training like bodybuilders, right? Because you get extremes with both. Like normal people don't give a shit about like the technical stuff, so it's almost like you're like during the session is kind of a waste. There's a bunch of exceptions for that. But on the other side of that, like bodybuilders, like they're so like robot, like they don't really, think about the bigger picture sometimes other than getting on stage. So there's a different level of gratitude. I mean, if you help someone lose 60 pounds, get a good report from their doctor, perceivably, extend their life by a long period of time, like those people, like that's like you get a different, like when I was like young and started training people and I actually first started having that happen, and be like, holy shit, I don't know if I'm emotionally prepared for this. I mean, it's awesome. Like, this is what they're talking about. So there's a huge, awesome part for that. Whereas like bodybuilders, sometimes are just like a bunch of like dumb meatheads that don't think past like their next meal or their next workout or whatever. It's like, and again, I'm not even saying that negatively, because that was me. It's like, what do you know when you're like 20 years old or whatever, right? And so you don't really have this big picture of like how impactful training can be for other reasons with people's life. Well, like in a session, like I like the technical side of it. I like to have that balance of like what you're doing does matter, and you have to work really hard. And like that's like, and for me, like that's like my skill set. Like that's where there's not a whole lot out there that's trying to really understand how you have to put that together, because we can talk about stuff. Like I like to all nerd on the board, and we can anatomy stuff and do all sorts of nerd stuff, and like that's cool. But then there's people that are like good at talking about that, but then getting into the gym, well, what does that actually mean, trying to get a human being to do it?
Being able to apply it.
Yeah, and then there's the same thing too, where I love getting people sometimes that like, I love the people that come in there, they're just ready to like work hard, make themselves puke, and like legitimately love to work hard. And when I combine some nerd with working hard, they're like, holy, new level of work hard. Like that's the thing too, is like, I didn't know I could get another level of pain out of this, like in a good way, right? So that stuff's very fun and exciting for me. But yeah, there's different for both. And obviously like with the normal population, there is a whole nother side too, where it's like you get like a lot of like, there is some cool problem solving with that too, because you'll get some people like generally bodybuilders have more like awareness by the time I'm working with them. So a lot of cueing and things, like normal people can't do that. So sometimes like you're teaching someone to like, you teach like a normal person to deadlift. Like I've had 8 million people where how they deadlift is like this. So like, everyone's around and like, is this good? And you like show them your form, and then they're like, oh, is this good? And it's like, oh boy. Like, so there's like, I do enjoy the problem solving with that stuff as well too, because that was like a different challenge as well. And then when you have broken people, that's what I joke with. Like my mentor, Tom Purvis, he works predominantly, like he's got a bodybuilding background, but now he works with like all broken people. So he works with the people that no one else can work with, basically like coming off of like physical therapists, we don't know what to do. And even like orthopedic surgeons, like we can't chop this person up anymore.
He's offering courses and stuff now, right?
Oh yeah, he's always offering courses. I mean, that's where I've like did the vast majority of my continuing education. And so there, I've had some of that, not quite as much as he has, but I did enjoy that part as well too. Like normal people, it's like you really have to do some problem solving, where it's like, oh, I feel like you can't just read it. Like that's why I joke, like training physical therapist is all like, it's like paint by numbers, where it's like, here's this thing and then you just go and follow the steps. Whereas like when you get something that's, hey, this literally is not in the textbook, this person, like what the am I supposed to do with this? Like if you don't actually have like concepts and principles, like that's, if you only know how to color by numbers, you'll never actually be able to like problem solve with someone challenging like that. And there's some of that with bodybuilding as well too. Like that's the cool stuff where it's like, because a normal person, it doesn't matter, like I need this part of my lat. Like, you know, most people are so fat they don't even know what that is down there or whatever. Like just get rid of that roll. But it's like there's some, you know, complex solving with that where it's like you can read online, what are the top 3 lat exercises or whatever, and like technically I'm like, those are good places to start, but like what does that actually mean for somebody that, like, you know, Ronnie Coleman, like what would I have to cue Ronnie Coleman on like how to do lats? I'd have to cue him nothing. I guarantee the first time he did a pull down, his lats were just like they just, you know, they work, right? But like the same thing we've talked about, there's structural reasons why it's trickier for some people to like find lats. So like that's problem solving as well too. Like, and I enjoy that. So like that's more fun for me. Like if I took like, again, same thing as example of like, hey, I got Ronnie Coleman and I made him do this workout. Look how big his back got. It's like I could have done anything. His back would have got huge. It's like actually I can't take any credit for that, right? Like, oh, you're the guy that got Phil Heath's arms big, and I was like, no, that was his parents. Like they did that. I just handed him some weights and he got big. You know, whereas if you have somebody that literally has like a crap body part, and then I can help them turn it into a good body part, then it's like, yeah, I might help with that a little bit. You know, there's some problem solving there. All right, guys, hopefully you enjoyed that. If you did, please don't forget to do the YouTube thing. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And of course, if you're looking for a place to have better programming, one-on-one support, you know, you want more of my thought process with what you're doing in the gym, don't forget to try and check out my app. There's a link in the bio down below, and you can try it free for 7 days. Or you can just get started right away. We've got it for less than $1 a day. Great access to a whole bunch of stuff. So, and also if you guys got any questions, comments, concerns, want to see more stuff like this, let me know in the comments section down below.